Doye has always hated the quiet. It had always made him feel as though there was something there, watching from the shadows. Venno had always told him his fear was irrational, that there was no need for him to go out with a flute strapped to his side, as the quiet could never harm anyone. He scoffed at the sight. Easy for him to say, he whispered. Then his heart skipped a beat as he realized he had spoken aloud. Stay quiet, Doye, he thought, drawing in a breath and continuing forward. Stupid Venno, making me do this. Confident, cause he's never seen the broken man. Neither had he, but at least he'd heard his voice and felt his touch. Doesn't matter. Very soon he's going to have proof. No one will ever doubt him again. He rested a hand on his machete and tightened the other around the lamp in his hand. Just you wait, Venno. I'm going to bring you back proof. He came to a stop at his destination. The seller stood before him, slightly higher than his ankle, but more than enough to make his heart coil in his chest as his mind drifted to the dark and silence that lay beneath. He swallowed. He rested the lamp at the side of the cellar, grabbed hold of the doors and pulled them open. A whisper shot out from within, the last piece of sound he'd heard for a while. His head drifted west, where the sun hung moments from setting. Well, there's no need to rush, he said, dropping a door and sitting on it. He reached into his pocket, drew out a matchbox, lit the lamp, and returned it to the floor. A chill ran down his spine, and a prickly sensation spun around his wrist. Without thinking, he reached out for the case strapped at his side, drew out the flute, and blew. He held the note until the chill and prickling faded. You will not get me yet, you foul creature. Abruptly, he rested a finger on the flute, then another. Over and over he went as he blew, making music, chasing away the quiet. The sun slipped from the sky, marking the end of the day. With quivering fingers, he pulled the flute from his lips and rested it on the floor. Why do I have to do this? The answer rose to the surface of his mind. You're just being delusional, Venno's voice echoed in his memory. With gritted teeth, he snatched the lamp from the floor, checked the machete by his side, held his breath and climbed into the cellar, closing the door behind him. His heart drummed in his chest and his eyes darted left and right, searching for the entity within the silence. He pulled the machete closer to his chest, tightening his grip around it while pressing his back deeper into the corner of the wall. Cold sweat drizzled down his face. His palm grew moist, threatening to lose grip of the machete. His heart was the only sound in his ears. His lips threatened to whistle, and in an instant, he clamped them beneath his teeth. Come on, Doye, you have to do this, or they will never stop calling you delusional. Abruptly, a quiet whistling sound filled the space, emanating from the edge of the cellar, still occupied by shadow. His gaze darted towards it. Then a scratching sound ran down the wall, raising the tempo of his breath. Hello, Doye. A subtle voice echoed out from the shadow, without disturbing the silence. His breath ceased. He stretched his machete towards the shadow. The quiet chuckled. He machete. What happened to your horn or your flute? The broken man said. Out! Doye said. Where? To the light? Think I'll pass. The shadow is a far better place, oh, the broken man replied. The pounding of his heart rose. I said, he swallowed. Come out and face me. And here I thought you were here to visit a friend. Well, if you want me to come into the light, then you must first approach the darkness, it said. Oh God. Doye's legs shuffled beneath him. His eyes darted to the stairs, then back to the voice in the shadow. He took a step towards the stairs, then abruptly felt a pit settle in his guts, just as the light dimmed. What in God's name are you doing, Doye? You are here to prove you're not delusional. Are you going to let them mock you again? Instantly, he turned back to the shadows, and his heart froze in his chest. As he watched the shadow return to the space where it had been, the light grew brighter. Interesting, it said, his heart in his throat. Doye stepped forward, inching closer to the darkness until he stood just a step away. Come out, Doye said. A scratching sound echoed through the room, followed by the sound of approaching footsteps. A moment later, a form stood just at the edge of the shadow, its body covered in scars, one hand dangling, held only by a strip of flesh, and half of its face missing. At the sight of the broken man, realization dawned. The half of his face that remained was a mirror image of Doye, only scarred. Well, what now? The broken man said. With his hand quivering, Doye lowered his machete. The man lifted a brow. Without hesitation, Doye shoved the hand into the darkness, caught hold of the man, and yanked him into the light. A proud smile curved his lips. Who could have thought? The broken man said, staring at himself as he faded into nothing. Doye woke up with a lump in his throat. As he grabbed hold of his machete and climbed up the stairs of the cellar, the lump melted into a whimper and tears ran down his cheeks as his heart felt as though it had grown too big for his chest. He smiled. I guess Vino was right.